made our first round of the evening in a leisurely way. Henri trying all the doors to see if they were locked and hoping to find one unlocked. He'd say, "For years I have an idea to develop a dog into a super thief who'd go into these guys' rooms and take dollars out of their pockets. I'd train him to take nothing but green money. I'd make him smell it all day long. If there was any humanly way possible, I'd train him to take only 20s. Henri was full of such mad schemes. He talked about that dog for weeks. Only once an unlocked door. I didn't like the idea, so I sauntered down the hall. Henri stealthily opened it. He came face to face with the very thing he despised and loathed in life. This was the face of the barracks supervisor. Henri hated that man's face so much that he told me, "What's the name of that Russian author you're always talking about? The one who put the newspapers in his shoe and walked around in a stovepipe hat he found in the garbage pail?" This was an exaggeration of what I'd told Henri of Dostoevsky, the holy Russian novelist saint. "Ah, that's it. That's it. Dostoevsky. A man with a face like that supervisor can only have one name. It's Dostoevsky." He was face to face with Dostoevsky, the supervisor, the manager, the boss man of the place. The only unlocked door he ever found belonged to Dostoevsky. And not only that, but D was asleep when he heard someone fiddling with his doorknob. He got up in his pajamas. He came to the door looking twice as ugly as usual. And when Henri opened it, he saw a haggard face separated with hatred and dull fury. "What's the meaning of this?" "I was only trying this door. I thought this was the mop room. I was looking for a mop." "What do you mean you were looking for a mop?" "Well, and I stepped back and I said, one of the men puked in the hall upstairs. We have to mop it up." "This is not the mop room. This is my room. Another incident like this, and I'll have you fellows investigated and thrown out. Do you understand me clearly?" "A fellow puked upstairs," I said. "The mop room..." "It's down the hall. Down there," he pointed, and waited for us to go and get a mop, which we did, and foolishly carried it upstairs. I said, "God damn it, Henri. You're always getting us into trouble. Why don't you lay off? Why do you have to steal all the time?" "Hey, the world owes me a few things, that's all. You can't teach the old maestro a new tune. You go on talking like that, and I'm going to start calling you Dostoevsky." "Okay, Hank, go put the mop back." "You put the mop back. I've not given up on these doors." He claimed he once found a man sleeping with $1 sticking out of his pocket. "Did you take it?" "I'm not in California, which is a land of fruit and nuts. Either you go nuts or you go fruit. For the benefit of what my mother used to call health, you stick with the old maestro and we'll make beautiful music on their evil skulls. Kerouac, I'm absolutely convinced beyond the shadow of a doubt that this Dostoevsky, this man, this worm, is nothing but a thief because of the shape of his evil skull." Henri was a compulsive thief. He was just like a little boy. Somewhere in his past, in his lonely school days in France, they'd taken everything from him. His parents just stuck him in schools and left him there. He was browbeaten and thrown out of one school after another. He walked the French roads at night, devising curses out of his innocent stock of words. He was out to get back everything he lost. There was no end to his loss. This thing would drag on forever. The barracks cafeteria was our meat. We looked around to make sure nobody was looking, and especially to see if any of our cop friends were looking around to check on us. And then I squatted down, and Henri put a foot on each shoulder, and up we went. He opened the window, which was never locked, and he saw to it in the evenings, scrambled through, and we came down on the flower table. I was a little more agile and just jumped and crawled in. Then we went to the soda fountain. Here, realizing a dream of mine since infancy, I took the cover off the chocolate ice cream and stuck my hand in wrist deep, hauled me up a skewer of ice cream and licked it. Then we got ice cream boxes and stuffed them too, poured chocolate syrup over and sometimes strawberry, took wooden spoons, then walked around the dispensary, the kitchens, opened ice boxes to see what we could take home in our pockets. I often tore off a piece of roast beef and wrapped it in a napkin. "You know what President Truman said?" Henri would say. "We must cut down on the cost of living." One night, I waited a long time as he filled a huge box of groceries. Then we couldn't get it through the window. Henri had to unpack everything and put it back, but he was racking his brain. Later in the night, when he went off to duty and I was all alone on the base, a strange thing happened. I was taking a walk along the old canyon trail, just to chance meeting a deer. Henri had seen deers around, the Marin County being wild even in 1947. And when I heard a frightening noise in the dark, it was huffing, it was puffing. I thought it was a rhinoceros coming for me in the dark. I grabbed my gun, I grabbed my balls. A tall figure appeared in the canyon gloom. It had an enormous head. Suddenly I realized it was Henri, with a huge box of groceries on his shoulder. He was moaning and groaning from the enormous weight of it. He'd found the key to the cafeteria somewhere and just got his groceries out the front door. I said, "Henri, I thought you were home. What the hell are you doing?" And he said, "You know what President Truman said? We must cut down on the cost of living." And I heard him huff and puff into the darkness. I've already described that awful trail back to our shack up hill and dale. He hid the groceries in the tall grass and came back to me. "Jack, I just can't make it alone. I'm going to divide it into 2 boxes and you're going to help me." "But I'm on duty." "I'll watch the place while you're gone. Things are getting rough all around. We've just got to make it the best we can, and that's all there is to it." He wiped himself. "I've told you time and again, Jack, that we're buddies. We're in this thing together. There's just no 2 ways about it. The Dostoevskys, the Chief Davies, the Texas, the Dianes, all the evil skulls of this world are out for our skin. It's up to us to see that nobody pulls any schemes on us. They've got a lot more up their sleeves besides a dirty arm. Remember that. You can't teach the old maestro a new tune." "Whatever are we going to do about shipping out?" I finally asked. "We've been doing these things for 10 weeks. I was making $55 a week and sending my mother an average of 40. I spent only 1 evening in San Francisco, and all that time my life was wrapped in the shack, in Henri's battles with Diane, and in the middle of the night at the barracks. Henri was gone off in the dark to get another box. I struggled with him on that old Zorro road. We piled up the groceries a mile high on Diane's kitchen table, and she woke up and rubbed her eyes. "You know what President Truman said? He said for us to cut down on the cost of living." She was delighted. I suddenly began to realize that everybody in America is a natural-born thief. I was getting the bug myself. I even began to try and see if doors were locked. The other cops were getting suspicious of us. They saw it in our eyes. They understood with unfailing instinct what was on our minds. Years of experience had taught them the likes of Henri and me. In the daytime, Henri and I went out with the gun and tried to shoot quail in the hills. Henri sneaked up to within 3 feet of the clutching birds and let go a blast of the .32. He missed. His tremendous laugh roared over the California woods and over America. "The time has come for you and me to go see the Banana King." It was Saturday. We got up all spruced up, and we went down to the bus station on the crossroads, and here we spent an hour playing in the pinball machine. We knew how to tip on it and left 100 games there for anyone who wanted to have some fun. Henri's huge laugh resounded everywhere we went. He took me to see the Banana King. "You must write a story about the Banana King," he warned me. "Don't pull any tricks on the old maestro and write about something else. The Banana King is your meat. There stands the Banana King." The Banana King was an old man selling bananas on the corner. I was completely bored. But Henri kept punching me in the ribs and even dragging me along by the collar. "When you write about the Banana King, you write about the human interest things in life." We strolled through the streets of San Francisco, and Henri had no use for Chinatown. He took me back to see the Banana King. I told him I didn't give a damn about the Banana King. "Until you learn to realize the importance of the Banana King, you will know absolutely nothing about the human interest things of the world," said Henri emphatically. On the highway in back of our shack, up the hill, Henri planted birdseed in the ditch in hope of raising a crop of marijuana. The only time we went to look at the progress of the thing, a cruising car pulled up beside us. "What are you boys doing?" "Oh, we're members of the Sausalito police force. We work down there at the barracks, just spending an afternoon off." The cops went away. Down by the Sausalito waterfront, Henri suddenly whipped out his gun and shot gulls. Nobody noticed, except an old woman with a bag of groceries who turned around. "Ah, woo!" howled Henri. There was an old rusty freighter out in the bay that was used as a buoy. Henri was all for rowing out to it, so one afternoon, Diane packed a lunch, and we hired a boat, and we rowed